Hey, we got more NFL news, ladies and gentlemen. DK Metcalf has requested a trade from the Seattle Seahawks. The Philadelphia Eagles re-signed some major pieces back to the squad, trying to go back to back. And we got other NFL news around the league that took place today. Y'all know we gonna talk about it, break it all down, but obviously we got to play this intro first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. No Steve-O with me today. My man's busy handling some business. But if y'all tuned in with us, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Now, it's being reported by Adam Schefter that DK Metcalf has requested a trade from the Seattle Seahawks. This comes shortly after the Seattle Seahawks released their all-time leading receiver, Tyler Lockett. DK Metcalf said he want to get up out of there. Now, look, I'm not too mad at it. It is what it is. He probably want to see and just have a change of scenery. Probably want to go out there and have another chance to compete with another team. I say, hey, it is what it is. Are you a believer in Geno Smith? He's solid. Maybe a B quarterback, C plus, you know what I'm saying? Maybe around that range. But hey, DK Metcalf said he want to get up out of there. We know that DK Metcalf was brought on the team in the Seattle with the Seattle Seahawks when Pete Carroll was the then head coach. Now Pete Carroll is now the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Is that something that the DK Metcalf or the Seattle Seahawks will entertain? Those guys over there in Vegas, you got Tom Brady, who's now part of the organization as a minority owner for the team. You know what I'm saying? They saying that he doesn't make a lot of the day-to-day decisions with the current regime, but he does have some type of input. And I will look at it like this. If you the Raiders, you got an opportunity to go against Shador Sanders. Why not look at an opportunity to go ahead and pair Shador with a Brock Bowers at tight end, with a DK Metcalf on the outside, and then you got Max Crosby on the defensive side as some cornerstone pieces that you can continue to build around. So it's kind of understandable that DK Metcalf could potentially be an option out there for the Las Vegas Raiders. Another option that I will be trying to look at is I'm Mike Vrabel in New England. I got Drake May over there. I know we got some young, talented wide receivers, but right now, as it currently stands, we don't have a DK Metcalf. Now, what would a trade potentially look like? That's another discussion that the Las Vegas Raiders or the New England Patriots will have to strongly consider. A guy like DK Metcalf with the youth that he has might go out there and garner first round pick type of attention. How stern will the Seattle Seahawks be in their negotiations? Hey, we got to lead up to for them to figure out and decide on what they absolutely want to do. Do you say to hell with the first round pick, or it just give me multiple picks, maybe a second and a third, maybe a 2 and a fifth, or 2 and a fourth, something like that? How do you view DK Metcalf, and what do you think that his value is? DK Metcalf is a guy that goes out there all the time and performs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a pretty strong performance that you're guaranteed to get out of DK Metcalf on most Sundays. Now, let's keep it a grand. Only 66 receptions this past season with 992 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not 1,000 yards, close to it. But how well, if you're a guy that's interested in, or you're a front office that's interested in DK Metcalf, How do you view him and how do you feel he can operate for your said franchise? We know that the past two seasons in 2023 and 2020, 1,000-yard receiving yards. 2021, 967 yards. 2020, 1,300 yards. In 2019, his rookie season, 900 yards. So this guy is guaranteed to give you about 900 yards per season. And if you have solid quarterback play, who knows? You might get yourself a 1,000-yard receiver. And why not? Why not? You look at some of these other teams around the league that's probably still trying to figure out what they're going to do with their wide receivers. Me and Steve-O, we talked a little bit about Devontae Adams potentially being maybe on the radar for a Buffalo Bills. We did have some concerns with them having Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper is now a free agent. So do you, as the Buffalo Bills, entertain a DK Metcalf type of trade to bring on another young stud on the team? Or do you push out or push away the idea simply because we know that Stephon Diggs, when he first arrived in Buffalo, he was awesome. But towards the end of his y'all heard me. But towards the end of his tenure with Buffalo, it got a little shaky. It got a little rocky. So if you the Seattle Seahawks and you DK Metcalf and your representation, you trying to see where you gonna go. And there's some teams around the league that could potentially use his services. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all see the Bears gear? I know the Bears won't entertain it, but what about some of these division rivals? What about the Green Bay Packers, who my man's Josh Jacobs pretty much came out and said, hey, we need a legit number one. DK Metcalf for them would be a legit number one. Or do you settle for a reunion with Devontae Adams? It's going to be interesting as we get closer and closer to NFL free agency, what these teams are thinking and how they're going to move. So DK Metcalf requesting a trade is really not that surprising to me, if I'm being honest, simply because you could kind of tell he was a bit disgruntled last season. But we'll wait and see what happens. And they also released Tyler Lockett, like I previously mentioned at the start of this episode. In other news, we got the Philadelphia Eagles loading up with some key pieces on their team to try, and what it looks like to me, they trying to go back to back. For my people that's down the south, they trying to go bite to bite. For my people that love football and they love that Eagles team up there on the East Coast, your team trying to say, y'all thought KC was trying to build this dynasty? We trying to get us a couple of them championships too. Now they still got to worry about some of those other teams in the upper echelon of the NFL for sure. But man, the Philadelphia Eagles are doing the right thing right now. They went out and re-signed Saquon Barkley, a major catalyst for the success of the Philadelphia Eagles this season and moving forward. They signed him to an extension, 2 years, $41 million, giving him the highest contract for a running back. Running backs on the map again. They said running backs was over with. But running backs are on the map again, thanks to Saquon Barkley. Then you look at the production from Derrick Henry. Then you look at a few years ago, Joe Mixon with Cincinnati and how he was able to go out there and help the Houston Texans. Man, it ain't a lot of names out there that we can throw around and act like, hey, running backs, you know what I'm saying? They doing the greatest thing around the league. But it is very, very clear that if you want to be successful in this NFL, there has to be balance. Me and Steve-O talked about that on one of our other episodes, that the NFL at some point, or teams at least in the NFL at some point, have to understand you need a balance in the NFL. Yes, you can air it out in September, in October, but once the temperature drops, once it gets a little bit more colder, once the defense gets a little bit more tighter, things start to change a little bit. Playoff football. You need balance coming out of the backfield to keep the opposing quarterback on the sideline, to make defense play honest football, to go ahead and pick up some easy yards. Saquon Barkley, hey, shout out to you, my boy. Glad you got that bag. Glad that you're being respected. Glad that you're being shown love for what you were able to accomplish this past season with what you were able to do, 2,000 yards on the field. Who's to say that he can't do it again? I'm not gonna say he doing it. I need to see it first. But I'm saying that Saquon Barkley is definitely helping running backs make that change. What is all the talk about in this draft right now? Trenches and the galore at running backs. The bevy of running backs that people are anticipating of selecting and drafting, and they're being talked about more so than the quarterbacks this season. It's not the end all be all when constructing a team, but it's very, very interesting when you think about Saquon Barkley. So shout out to you for getting your bag. Then the Philadelphia Eagles went out there and re-signed Zach Bond. 3-year, $51 million. My goodness. Hey, shout out to you for getting your bag. Played all 16 games, played 16 games for the Philadelphia Eagles, had 1 interception, had 4 deflections, had 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 151 combo tackles, 93 solo tackles, and 11 tackles for loss from Zach Bond. Shout out to Zach Bond for going out and getting his bag. 3-year, $51 million, well deserved. And this was a guy that, hey, not a lot of people seen coming and performing at this level. So shout out to the Eagles, because those 2 additions I was a bit concerned about. Those re-signings, well, not Saquon, because he still had years left, but to re-up on him and to be able to retain one of the best linebackers from last season, 2 A-plus moves. 2 A-plus moves from the Philadelphia Eagles, who continue to show why they are one of the better franchises in the league. One of the better franchises in the league. So you got to show love to those guys in that respect for what they've been able to accomplish, what they've been able to put out there on the forefront, what they've been able to go after constantly and push the chips in the middle of the table to say, hey, we going for the championship. And if you not the coach that's to coach my team and I'm giving you talent, we're going to get your ass up out of here. We don't care if you Doug Peterson and you won a championship. If you don't perform, you are out of here. Shout out to the front office in Philadelphia. They have a strong chance of repeating next season. Obviously, we got to see the stuff be put on wax and be done on the field. But, man, do you place yourself in great position by re-signing these 2 guys. And you got a young, talented defense already. You just let go Darius Slay the other day. But you got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. All ready to recover that. You re-sign Zach Bond. You got guys like Jalen Carter on the interior. My goodness. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. I cannot hate. Y'all see Miguel. I'm a Bears fan, but I cannot hate. In other news, we got Max Crosby re-ing up on his funds. Not mad at it either. Max Crosby. Look, this man, late round selection, just re-up. 3-year, $106 million. Well deserved. I ain't no hater, big dog. That's 35 mil per year. Get your bag. But you gotta ensure that the other guys upstairs put you in a great position to play meaningful football, Max. I'm not mad at you going to get that bag to change your life. I'm not mad at it. You love the silver and black. They changed your life. So you showing them some loyalty. Not mad at it, big dog. But ensure that these people are doing absolutely everything they can to change the temperature around the team. Because before Devontae Adams was traded to the New York Jets, my guy, it was ugly. It was ugly from Devontae Adams over there and his body language over there. They made a lot of bonehead moves in my opinion these past few years. But going ahead and drafting Brock Bowers, going ahead and getting yourself a Max Crosby, those are two steps in the right direction. We'll see what these guys continue to do. And they just picked up another offensive lineman, former offensive lineman from Cincinnati. Hey, we'll see what other moves come out of this. We shall see. When it comes to my Bears, y'all know I got to squeeze in some fan favoritism for my Bears. The Chicago Bears went out there and traded a 2026 sixth-round pick for Joe Thuney from Kansas City. Big move for the organization. Strong move for the organization after going to get Jonah Jackson. Hey, the Bears out there trying to improve their offensive line, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. We always celebrating the offseason in Chicago. We want to celebrate some damn regular season stuff in Chicago. So though the two moves that the Chicago Bulls made the last 48 hours have been impressive. From me, all this Bears gear on. They got to put it on wax before I get super excited. For real. For real. And then the other news around the league that's been taking place, we got some releases around the NFL. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars releasing Christian Kirk, wide receiver, who was a big addition when he first was acquired for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A huge addition. It was viewed as being one of the better offseason additions when they first signed him from Arizona. I think he had some solid seasons over there in Jacksonville. But obviously, when you go out there and you pay these quarterbacks all this money, you're not able to go ahead and retain a lot of the talent that you have. Now, 2024, my man's Christian Kirk did not have a great season. Only 27 receptions, 379 yards for one touchdown. So it was a major letdown in 2024 from Christian Kirk. And it was a lot to be desired. Now, I will say he battled some injuries. He only played 8 games this past season, but major letdown. And then we got Allen Lazard from the Jets. He's looking for a trade. If I'm New York, ain't nobody trading for Allen Lazard, bro. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Ain't nobody trading for Allen Lazard, bro. Yeah, you can call it what you want. You can call me a hater. I don't want to hear it. Ain't nobody traded for Allen Lazard, bro. I'm sorry. Look. The man is look. He can give you a little bit of juice. He can make a player here or there. But it's not a player that you're going to actively say, I have to have him on my team. No, it's not going to look like that. If somebody calls me, the New York Jets, saying, hey, what you think about Allen Lazard? What's the temperature on him? Me personally, I see the New York Jets just going out there and pretty much saying, all right, gang, we rock with you. We appreciate your service. It's time to release you. That's just simple. That's just how I see it. I'm not going to say that Allen Lazard is not talented. I believe if you make it in the NFL, you got some type of talent. Now, whether you are productive, that's a different story. And you look at Allen Lazard's track record in Green Bay, he has some good moments up there with Aaron Rodgers, hence why he was in New York in the first place. But if you look at his first year with New York, 14 games, 23 receptions, 311 yards, one touchdown. Increased the production this past year, which you will like if you're a guy analyzing the talent over there, and you're saying, okay, 12 games, 37 receptions, 530 yards, 6 touchdowns. You say, okay, there's an increase in production, but does it really move me? Hell to the no. It don't. It does not really move me as a fan of football. It doesn't really move me, in my personal opinion, if I'm trying to build a team. Now, if you say, all right, we didn't win a couple of weeks in free agency. We done made some major acquisitions. Is there still a guy that we can bring in to see if he could potentially bring us something? You might sign him to a training camp contract. Maybe look at something like that. So for the Jets to sit there and not just release him, just let him go. What you want? A 5th round pick? Okay, fine, cool, dandy. You can have it. But at the same time, are you really up for that? Well, you can go look at a couple other wide receivers who funnel in and out of the draft every single year to provide you with something. Is it not another wide receiver in this draft coming up that could provide you with some type of field that you can develop them to be better than Alan Lazard? I would say it's some out there. I absolutely would say it's some out there. But for the Jets to sit around and play with this, bro, just release them. Just let them go. Just let them go. For real. And then we hearing from the Los Angeles Rams that there is a scenario that Cooper Kupp might return to the Los Angeles Rams. Les Snead, GM of the Los Angeles Rams, said this: there is a scenario, but when you get into possibilities, that will be the least likely. I don't want to tell you no today and then next week he's a Ram. You see what we're trying to do? We're working to try to find a partner in a next chapter for Cooper and ourselves. Me personally, hey, do you want a are you willing to take a hometown discount? No? Okay, let's find you a destination. Because the injuries have piled up for Cooper Kupp. And I ain't going to sit up here and act like Cooper Kupp did not just go out there and get you the Triple Crown a few years ago. And I still think that Cooper Kupp potentially could have something left in the bag. I do. I really do. But when you sit up there and look at the stats from that Triple Crown season where he got 145 receptions, 1,900 yards, and 16 touchdowns, it's been a major drop-off. Not terrible, but once you set the bar so high as a wide receiver, when you start diminishing your production or your production starts to diminish, things get a little murky. Things get a little blurry and start to look a little weird. 2022 from Cooper Kupp, 75 receptions, 812 yards. 2023, 59 receptions, 737 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2024, 67 receptions, 710 yards, 6 touchdowns. Not necessarily bad when you think about Puka Nacua. Not necessarily bad when you think about Puka now being the number 1 and Coop now being the number 2. The problem is you want Mannion. You want Mannion, my guy. You want too much Mannion. And then in 2022, you only played 9 games. In 2023, you only played 12 games. In 2024, you only played 12 games. So missing some games here and there is not always bad. It's not always bad. You know what I'm saying? This is the NFL. Guys go down all the damn time. But at the end of the day, too much Mannion. Too much Mannion. So I understand where Les Snead is coming from when he talks about Cooper Kupp. But at the end of the day, nah, if you ain't taking this hometown discount, my boy, 10, 12, 13 million per. Nah, gang. Nah, because I can't pay you 20 million, Cooper Kupp. I can't pay you 25 million right now, Cooper Kupp. Especially when I'm trying to get myself in a position to repay Matthew Stafford. Then I got to prepare for some of these young defensive guys that we got on the squad that's been balling. Then I got to sit there and make sure I got money for Puka. Hometown discount. Or you don't get no money on. One or the other. But hey, it is what it is. I don't think Cooper Kupp no bum. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think he a bum. But 31 years old now, longer in the tooth, got more years behind him than what's in front of him. These type of decisions, is where you see guys move on to other teams. It's just too much money on. Too much money. But hey, that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I couldn't go ahead and get y'all comments a part of the live today. For some strange reason, my streaming service is tweaking. So I appreciate all those that was able to tune in, show some love to the NFL Central. We're going to definitely make sure we get this fixed on the back end for the next time around. Continue to leave your thoughts and everything down in the comment box below so we can go ahead and chop it up. Once this video ends, make sure you drop your comments down in the box below so we can ensure that you are having a great time and that your takes are being heard, and whether we agree with them or disagree with them. Don't think we just gonna agree with you because we want you to support the channel. We want you to support the channel, but we football people too. If we feel like you ain't talking schematics right, you ain't thinking about the trades right, we gonna let you know. And we can have some, you know what I'm saying, some healthy dialogue is what some of these professionals call it. Let's have some healthy dialogue for like some of these professionals call it. But that is it for me today, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know, hit that like button, subscribe. Steve-O, he's busy right now, but you already know we gonna be back with another banger. So stay tuned as this NFL off season continues to chug on and move along. Me and Steve are gonna continue to give y'all this fire. So y'all make sure y'all lock in. I appreciate y'all, man. Catch y'all on the next one for sure.